Welcome back to another weekly GMBN Tech Show. Blake sends it to flat mostly on the new Lyric and also on that new Rockshox Pike. And also, in fact, Blake, we've got him on a motocross bike, which is quite cool, and riding that new Zipp Moto wheel. Plus, we check out a little bit more detail on the Industry 9 Hydra hub. Okay, so Rockshox have an entire range update. So all of their 2019 models are seeing some rolling changes, and there's some really cool stuff there. So I'm just going to fire up some of the images on screen now, some of the nicest looking bits. So internally on some of the better forks, there's a Charger 2.1 damper. So that's the next generation of the Charger. It's a much slicker system. It's more refined, has better oil flow, which ultimately means it's going to work better. It's not going to get as hot. The damping's going to be more consistent, and you're going to feel less impact through to your hand. So that's all good things. They're also using Maxima Plush oil inside, which apparently is the bee's knees as far as oils go. And interestingly, they say that the low speed rebound circuit is also improved. So it's still going to do its job keeping the fork up, but it's going to keep the fork up much higher in the travel whilst using less damping to do so. So that's always a good thing. Now, I've got to say, you've got to check out Blake's video over on GMBN where he's been riding the brand new Pike head to head against the Lyric, comparing who they're really for. And actually, I think it's an entertaining video, and you see Blake basically thrashing the crap out of two bikes here, and it's really cool. But it's got quite an important message in there, because I keep seeing people that I think are overbiked. Now, don't get me wrong, everyone's entitled to buy whatever they want, and that's great if you enjoy it. But also, I think people are buying bikes with too much travel for them and too much travel on the forks, and it's actually hindering their riding, which they might not realise because the bike rides well. But if perhaps they were on something that's a little bit more suitable, you're going to have even more fun. And I think Blake's video basically highlights this. So he's on a nuke-proof Mega, and he's got that Lyric on there, and he's absolutely smashing it through rock gardens and going flat out. Whereas on the other bike, he's got the Rockshox Pike. I think it's the ultimate model, the top end one, which is kind of a polished, silvery looking, really nice fork. It's got much less travel. He's got 27.5-inch wheels, and that's on a Canyon Spectral. So a much lighter and more realistic bike for a lot of people. And he's got no problem sending it on there. You know, don't forget the Pike is a pretty burly fork. And I think, to be honest, you've got to push a Pike pretty hard to get above its limit. So I think really that is the fork for most people. And I think it's a great video by Blake. So make sure you check it out. It's going to be a link to that in the description below this. Now also, Rockshox have a few other cool upgrades. So they've got what they call the Meg Neg. So this is their new air can. Now, a few times over the year, we've reported seeing a new air can on some of their air shocks on pro racers' bikes, just with a slightly different shape. So we knew sooner or later it was going to drop, and this is it right here on the screen. So it's compatible on Deluxe and Super Deluxe shocks, and it uses old style red rubber bands, essentially air volume spacers on the outside. So they're super simple. You basically slide off a sleeve on there, put the bands on to get the amount of volume progression that you want, and slide it back on. A really cool system to use. I'm quite pleased to see that system back in place, because it's a lot easier and a lot less fiddly to get basically to tune the way that your shock handles. It's really cool. So like I say, it's compatible with Deluxe and Super Deluxe. Comes with various different tokens, seals and fresh decals in there. It's an aftermarket product, so go for it basically. Retails at $90 US. That is 100 euros or 90 quid in the UK. And also another thing I've just noticed with the Rockshox range is really cool. And they've got this on models of fork all the way up to the Boxer, which of course is a twin crown downhill fork. They've got what they call this Select series. So essentially, you're saving some money, but you're getting a lot of the features that you get, the most important features, might I add, that you get on the top models like the RCT dampers and stuff, without the big price hike, essentially. So it's a really cool way of identifying them at price points as well. It's quite confusing with the RL, the RCT, RCT3, all that sort of stuff. It seems a bit more simplified to identify what you need for your money. So a good way to go, Rockshox. Commercell have another new bike out. This time, the one on the screen you can see is the Meta AM29, and this is the signature brushed version. So basically this is just brushed aluminium, no paint on there, which of course weighs more. It's a really smart looking bike, I think. I really like what Commercell do. So of course it's a single pivot, linkage activated design, can be mistaken for 4-bar, all about that pivot that's on the seat stay as opposed to the chain stay, which would make it a 4-bar design. But it looks really neat. I love how the seat stays sort of merge into that top tube line there, and also how the shock is almost in a recess under the top tube. Very nice looking bike. It's 29-inch wheels available in 3 sizes, although they do list 4 in the geometry chart. It says 3 sizes available here from May 2019. This spec is €4,499. A lot of money, but actually there's some really good kit on there. In fact, it's from what I can see, it's no expenses spared. Now the geometry reach, it's not the longest compared to a lot of bikes out there. So 480 reach, and it goes down to a 435 on the size medium. That's not necessarily a bad thing though. 29-inch wheel bikes can be a bit of a handful, so I reckon this one's gonna be good fun, and it looks really nice to boot. Really nice to see that they're not really doing the carbon thing either. They're just carrying on with aluminium. It looks good, it rides good, it lasts a long time, and now it's going to look good forever because it basically doesn't have any paint to wear off. Nice one, Commercial. Okay, so here's something in front of me you might not have realised that you might actually need. From Elite, they make bottle cages. In fact, they make a lot of stuff, and their stuff is very nice and high-end, generally on the road market. But these are their new mountain bike cages. They're called the Prism. They're available in carbon fibre and also in fiberglass, but more interestingly, they're available in right and left specific. They're side entry, so really useful for mountain bikes that have got shocks that get in the way of getting your bottle into the cage. They look like pretty secure, like they're going to grab your bottle quite well, but I just love the fact you can get them in left and right. I think that's actually quite a cool thing that's overlooked massively. Not all of us want to load a bottle with the same hand from the same side. It works better the other way around for some. So these are all the carbon ones. They're available left and right in a gloss finish and a matte finish, and are also, of course, available in a slightly cheaper fiberglass option. They weigh 30 grams, which is almost nothing, so I can't imagine there being that much difference between the carbon and the fiberglass one anyway. But there you go, I think they look really cool. Oh, and they're also doing bottles as well, which for some of you that have bottle cages in odd places, you'll like the fact it's got a cap. So if you have to run your bottle on the down tube, for example, where it's in the region where dog eggs and all that sort of stuff flick up, that is a good bottle to have. So good stuff there from Elite. Okay, some nifty gadgets from 76 Projects. We've got the Piggy and the Little Piggy. So essentially, what I'm just going to show you here is fits on a bottle cage mount, and this one has a tube strap on there. You can mount various tools on there, tubes, CO2 cartridges. They also have these dry bags and stuff available, different sizing to put your gadgets in, keep them out of the muck. I love all this sort of stuff because sometimes you just don't want to take a bag with you, and if you've got bottle cages on your bike, it means you can still have the bottle cage and you still have the space behind it, so you're making use of that space. Now, of course, it does depend on the frame design that you have in order to make most of this stuff. On my bike, for example, my Nukeproof Mega, I've got a bottle cage mount that's on the down tube in the firing zone, so I don't really like putting a bottle there, but I quite fancy the idea of sticking a tube in it down there, and especially by using the piggyback bag, which is a waterproof bag. So that's actually quite a cool idea, and I'm really into that. They've got various different things. I'm just going to throw you over to their website right now so you can see different pricing available for all the different stuff that they do. The Little Piggy retails for 25 quid and £32.50 with the dry bag. I think the dry bag's actually probably the selling point of the whole system. I think that's a smart idea, and that's what really makes it different from all this, like the tube straps that you see out there. And again, you can use that as a day-to-day bag for other stuff. Pretty useful, I think. And on last week's show, we had a quick look, and it was a very quick look, I've been told that by a few people now, at the new Crank Brothers Synthesis XCT wheels. Of course, they are fantastic wheels. I have them here by my side. Now, a few of you wanted to know what the hub, not just what it sounded like, but what it looked like on the inside. So here's that sound once more. So the hub is an Industry 9 Hydra. This thing is absolutely insane. So as I say, there's those 52 points of engagement via the 6 pulls on there. Each of those pulls, if you look up close, has multiple little sort of serrations in them, and they will grip onto the ratcheting ring on the inside of the hub. Now, the pulls, as you can see, they're sprung as you would get on any pull type hub, but in succession, they're always basically, one set of them are always engaged. Just take a look at that surface on the inside of there. Wow. Well, yeah, so there you go. That's what the inside of the Industry 9 Hydra system looks like. I'm just going to slot this back in so you can hear this once more. Pretty nice, eh? And just a quick once more overall on the wheels. So the whole concept between the Crank Brothers wheels is that they ride differently. So the rear one is stiff and it runs on 32 spokes. The front one runs on 28 spokes. There's a little bit more compliance on that front wheel. Interestingly, even though it's stiffer and stronger, the rear wheel is slightly narrower. Internal is 24.5 and it's 26.5 millimeters on the front. That's about all you need to know. The bladed spokes, they're super light, they're super fast, and they sound super sick. Okay, now it's time for Bike Cave. We all know that I love a good bike cave, which of course this is a bike cave. It's a place where you store your bikes, where you hang around to talk about bikes like I do. So if you've got any of that sort of cool stuff going on, take some photos of it, tell us all about it. The link to our uploader is just down below there, so get involved there. It's really easy to use. First up this week is from Z in Ohio. Wow, there's lots going on here. Wow, okay, so you're into biking after injuring your knee in a ski trip. Wow, okay, so got into biking for recovery. This is really cool. Nice one. So you live in a 1-bedroom apartment with 0 storage. So I made some room. The bike is hanging by a wheel hook that I found at Home Depot for $5. Absolute bargain. It's low profile, drills into a stud with 2 screws, and it's held up for the past year, so it has my approval. There's not enough room to work on a balcony, so I put a tarp down on the carpet. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Or if you're me, you don't put anything down and you get in trouble for the grease marks on there. But hey ho. I'll tell you what, those the wheel hooks look just like the ones I have in my own bike cave, actually. I bet they're exactly the same, made in the same place. Loving how you have your helmets and all your bike packs on the wall there. I love your little Husky toolbox there as well, they're really cool. And snowboards too, always good to see. It looks like you've made really good use of space. Doesn't look cluttered, looks really clean, frames the window nicely. Really cool you got into biking. Unfortunately you got in there for an injury, but I'm glad that it's hopefully sorting your injury out because you've still got your snowboards up there. So fingers crossed that you can carry on doing what you love, so good for you. Next up is from Johnny, location in my garage. My bike cave with a self-made workbench and an old dentist chair. In the back you can see my mum's Scott, my dad's Bianchi. I've just finished my bike cave a few weeks ago and now I'm repeating with bikes and earning a bit of money. Sadly I can't ride at the moment because I had an accident with my finger and brake rotor. The rotor cut through my hand and the bone. Oh man, that sounds horrible. I like your show and learned a lot. Absolute pleasure. I'm really happy that you watch our show and you learn from us. I'll tell you what, the dentist chair doesn't look like I thought it was going to look. It's very cool. I was expecting one of those horrible ones where you lay back and get but it looks good. And what is that in your muck-off bottle? That is not muck-off, that is purple, that is not pink. I'd love to know what's in there. Is it that stuff you swish around your mouth in a dentist that tastes really horrible? Could be. Looking good though, very nice Johnny. And there's a much better angle there. Liking the rubber that you've got on top of the workbench. That's a little bit similar to rubber flooring I have in my own workshop. Got YT stickers up there. Does that mean you've got a YT maybe? A Tues or a Capra perhaps? Looking good, I like it. Certainly got a lot of Part Tool blue going on in there. In fact, maybe that's something to do with the muck-off fluid that's blue in there. Maybe you've dyed it, who knows? Looks great though. Nice setup. You've got your nitrile gloves, always good to protect your hands. I'm guilty of not using them enough, to be honest. I end up getting busy on a job and then after a while thinking, I should probably be using gloves. If you lot are watching this, make sure you do protect your hands because there's some nasty stuff out there. Failing that, get yourself some barrier cream. That's quite good stuff. You can put that on before doing a nasty job and basically puts a protective barrier over your hands. You still have to wash your hands afterwards to get it all off, but it's quite useful stuff. I really like what you've done with your Allen keys and your Torx keys there, where you've put holes into the side of your bench so you can slot them in. That's cool, I've not seen that idea before. I really like that, that's quite smart. Looking good, gotta say. Nice work, Johnny. Yeah, more details there. Disc brake cleaner, bike spray, grease, all sorts of stuff. Oh, you've got stickers drawer as well. Oh, you must have a YT. Loads of YT stickers everywhere. Awesome. Right, next up from Christian in Norway. Building my bike cave, learning both biking and tinkering as I go. Loving the channel, learning a lot. Thank you, Christian. We love helping people learn stuff, so I guess we're doing something vaguely right. And this looks awesome in here. Look at a roll that you've got there of shop towel. That's the biggest roll I've ever seen. It looks awesome. Loads of stuff in there too. So you've got your Scott cross country bike, you've got a Scott trail bike. I can't quite see what that is from here. Is it it's not a Spark, is it? Maybe it is a Spark. Can't quite see from the angle. Wooden ceiling there, nice pegboard at the back. Canada WD-40 classic blue down the back there. The stuff that you can use on a chain that people insist you can't, but you can. I've done it many a time. It has no problem as long as you maintain your bike. If you don't maintain your bike, it's probably not the best because it is a solvent, but there you go. It's not designed for that, but you can use it. plenty of good stuff going on there. Thank you very much for sending that one in, Christian. Next up's from Will in Colorado. Wow, this one's action-packed. So you've got a park work stand, you've got the swivel stool, the rubber mat, you've got the big cab on the workbench there with some snowboards upside down on the top. Looks like you go shooting. I can see a shooting target thing on the wall there. Various tyres and loads of bikes, dude. Absolutely crammed of bikes in here. This is like a right old bike cave. This genuinely is a bike cave. Got an Evil down the front. Oh, I do like an Evil. It's another brand. I never really spent much time on them. Ridden them a few times. Like Reckoning, that thing goes like a stink. It's like a freight train once you get it going. Maybe I should get an Evil at some point. Liking your toolbox. Lots of Pedros in there. Some park tool stuff. Loads of different brands. Orange degreaser. I like it. You've clearly picked the right things for you. And there we go, some more details. So you've got one of the Commissar Supreme downer bikes. Very nice, mate. Okay, so you're a pretty serious rider if you've got one of those. That is an absolute weapon. Serious bit of kit with the idler wheel, high pivot. In fact, that was probably one of the most successful downhill bikes last year. Absolutely fantastic bike. Oh, and we're out of the bike cave. Thank you everyone for sending them in, and thank you for putting up with my rambling about your bike caves. I absolutely love them. Keep them coming. And now it's time for top mods. Any modification you make to your bike classes as a top modification. So anything that personalises it, makes it yours. It's a bit different to the one in the showroom, a bit different to your mate's bike. Anything. New handlebar grips, new forks, a total rebuild, whatever it is, take some photos, tell us all about it and send them in. Link is right there on the screen. First up's from Michael in Fife in Scotland. I really wanted some carbon wheels to finish off my bike, but due to the custom 130mm back end on my Hope, I was severely limited. I spoke to many manufacturers but found myself speaking to Si at 18 Bikes. I told him I wanted the Santa Cruz reserve wheels, but the problem was I only make them in a 28-hole configuration and the HB hubs are 32-hole. He spoke with Hope, who agreed to custom machine me a set of 28-hole hubs and laser engrave them with the HB 160 lagger. Oh dude, you've gone to town on this. Love it. The wheel arrived and I fitted the gunwall tyres. Oh dude, you're killing me. It's even better. I did like the tyre profile on the 30 rims as they're 2.3, so after a bit of head scratching, I took the advice of friends and went for 2.6 WTB Vigilante up front. Yeah, that's a really aggressive tyre. And a Judge out back in 2.4 with Cush core. Man, that is a serious bit of kit. Finished off with green tie bolts and new discs and cassette, mean I have the original wheels to swap in at any time. Mega happy with how it's turned out. I am not surprised, you've basically got yourself some completely bespoke wheels. For the record, those tan walls look off the charts. They're so good. I don't know what it is about tan walls. They're no better than black wall tyres, but they just look good. But hey, they're just as good with the Vigilantes on there. Look at the size of knobbles on that thing. So aggressive. And I love the green valves. What are they muck-off valves? They look like them to me. Very cool, whatever they are. Oh, there's the bike. Look at that bad boy. Carbon rock guards, front mud guard on there. Hope cranks, Hope everything, in fact, on there. Fox 36 up front, Fox transfer dropper post, X2 shock out back. Mate, that's a hell of a bike, I gotta say. Nice job, Michael. Okay, next up is from Russ in Doncaster, and the bike is a 2018 Airdrop Edit V2. Winter upgrades while on baby leaf. Cane Creek double barrel coil 2 with Enduro needle bearings. That is a serious bit of kit. Those shocks are fantastic. I hope you spend the time getting this set up, because with the high and low speed compression and rebound, it can be quite confusing. I'm guessing by your setup you know a thing or two about that, but I do know some friends who've had those shocks and they never quite got the best out of them until they sat down with someone that did know. Absolutely fantastic bits of kit. One-up components, dropper seat post, 150mm with the wolf tooth lever on there, descendant cranks, XT 4-pot calipers, immensely powerful they are, they're a good choice. Fast suspension Yari up front and a debonair air shaft for the 2018 Revelation. Man, fantastic mods again. I'm loving this. People are really paying attention to what they're doing with their bikes. And it looks like you've got carbon down tube protection as well. Even better. Awesome setup. There you go, there's your spring. 225x450. The needle bushings. Oh, you've got Fidlock bottle as well. They're good, aren't they? Surprisingly good. Take a little while to get used to, but they're good. Oh, there's those 4-piston calipers. Work less, ride more. Yes. I like it. It's good to see people tweaking regular forks and turning them basically into top-end forks by changing some internals. I think that's the way to go, because basically you've got to save up to get that stuff in the first place, otherwise it costs you a fortune getting the top-end stuff. Well, I've got to say, top-end stuff is very nice. Next one's from Jed in Canberra, Australia. Hi, Jed. Hi, guys. I watch the show regularly and love it. Nice. Even though it's a 2017 model, I bought this bike in October 2018 at the time release of the 2019 models. Got a good price on it. This was the last one. Nothing over the top here, but the following are mods I've made. Ergon fat grips, Shimano Pro stem cap and seat clamp, to which I add a GoPro or my lights. That's a really handy mod actually to have. XT flat pedals, matching red valve caps, more importantly. Cable end cap 2, Design 77 bash guard, updated the dropper remote to new paddle and a saddle to a Trek Montrose. These are all amazing modifications. This is what I'm talking about. You've got the same bike, but you're making those little tweaks that personalise it. That is exactly what I want to see more of. Dude, it looks really cool. You've also put a wide trail front tyre on there too and some frame skin stuff. Mate, you've gone to town. That is exactly what a top mod is. Really great example of it. Turned a really good bike into a slightly better bike, but more importantly, a more personalised bike. That is the name of the game. Looks fantastic, and I love the little end cap on the ridge radiator as well. Nice little touch. Good work. And there's what you store in your toe peak pack there. Nice. Little Stans valve core remover. And all the useful stuff in there. Packs in nicely. Wicked, thank you. And Jed especially, thank you. Love what you're doing to your bike. If any of your mates have done stuff, I'd love to see theirs as well, so encourage them to take some photos. And same for everyone. If you're inspired by Jed, do the same sort of stuff to your own bike. All those tiny little things that you might not think of as a top mod, they're really fantastic, and it really does make your bike much better for you. Until next time, cheers guys. And Tech of the Week this week are basically Zipp, a road manufacturer of aerodynamic and very innovative wheels, are now making mountain bike wheels, and they're called the 3.0 Moto. This is them on screen, and they are very, very, very sexy wheels. Well, as far as the set of wheels could ever be. Anyway, a slightly different profile to what you're used to seeing. Used to seeing quite deep section rims, very stiff approach to wheels. These have got quite a flat profile to the rim. It's because they're a single wall design, and they have something called ankle compliance built into them, which enables the rim to deflect when it hits stuff extremely hard. Now, Blake has made a really cool video over on GMBN. There's some stuff on the screen right now of him smashing those wheels to bits, or at least trying to. It's got to be the first time he's never actually smashed a set of wheels to bits, so I think that's testament. And also Blake flying around on a motocross bike explaining why they have used that technology. And I also made a video on GMBN Tech all about them, where we get proper nerdy, talking about the ankle compliance and the torsional wind up of the rear wheel, all of that cool stuff. So be sure to check out both of those videos. The links to both of them are in the description underneath this very video, and I'm also going to put links to them at the end of this video, so check them out. They're really, really cool. I'd love to know what you think. Do you think it's a cool idea that Zipp are producing a wheel that's both nice and stiff for going through the turns, but offers a bit of compliance, so basically it should preserve your hands and also preserve your tyres and your rims? Or do you prefer the all-out stiffness that some of the other brands are offering and saying that is the best? I'm not sure which is the best, but it's good to have options. Let us know what you prefer, super stiff or compliant. Let us know in those comments, and we'll see you next week. And there we go, there's another weekly GMBN Tech Show in the bag. As you're watching this, I am on my way to Sea Otter. So we're gonna pick up all of the new cool tech. So if there's anything you particularly wanna see that we might not know about, let us know in the comments below. And if we read it in time, we will go and hunt out that cool new tech. In the meantime, for a couple of cool videos, check that video with Blake and the Moto and the real Moto down there. He's on the KTM and that one. And click down here for the Geek Edition, where you want to know all the details about those Zipp wheels. As always, give us a huge thumbs up if you love GMBN Tech, and we'll see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe. Cheers, bye.